Hey everyone, welcome back to another build video. My name is Hexers, and today we'll be showcasing the Charge Plate Gigafrost II setup for the Kulve Taroth event. Now keep in mind, the Kulve Taroth is immune to ice until the final phase, at which point Part Breaker will not be necessary. So this setup is purely for that final phase. Now you may also notice that this has 3 level 2 slots on the weapon. This really isn't necessary, but I found for the quality of life, this is ideal since the majority of the damage will be related to the elemental damage anyways. But before we go any further, please note that this set will require an extensive amount of jewel socketing. Now for the weapon, we have it augmented with both a health regen and 2 slot upgrades. And for the armor, we have the Dragon King Eye Patch, Xenojiva Hide Alpha, Xenojiva Claws and Spine Beta, Death Stench Heal Beta, as well as a Handicraft 3 charm. Now after jewel socketing, the skills we will have are Razor Sharp, to half the sharpness lost from our attacks and blocking, Handicraft 5 to max out our sharpness bar, Blight Resistance 3 to negate the Fire Blight, Ice Attack 3 to bring the elemental damage cap to 310, Weakness Exploit 3 to bring the 50% affinity to weak points. This will help with some of the axe damage since it does have a very low raw. Focus 3 to increase the charge rate of our files, as well as decrease the charge time for our charge double slash. Power Prolonger 3, this skill is excellent for keeping both the shield and sword charged for an additional 40% time, which I've actually found to be quite amazing for the quality of life. Next we have Fire Resistance 1. I had an extra slot, so I felt like getting an extra little bit of defense out of the negative fire was best in slot for that. Next we have Capacity Boost to increase the amount of files carried. And finally we have Flinch Free 1, which is really helpful when grouped around Kulve Taroth's head, just to keep us from getting knocked around. But let's go ahead and take a look at the skills we've socketed to achieve these skills. Alright, so we have 3 Charger Jewels in the weapon, a Magazine Jewel in the headpiece, a Fire Resist Jewel in the chest, an Enhancer Jewel in the gloves, a Tenderizer and Frost Jewel in the waist, and 2 more Frost Jewels in the boots. But let's go ahead and see how this set works against the final phase of the Kulve Taroth siege. Alright, one thing to note, instead of the Rocksteady Mantle, you can absolutely take an Affinity Booster. It would massively increase your damage. I don't know why I didn't take it. I guess I'm just so used to the Rocksteady Mantle. It just makes everything a lot easier. Let's just go ahead and get down here. I edited out the first part of the fight. I did use my Taroth Blitz Piercer. I'll link the build for that in the description below for the first 3 phases. But since he's no longer... Or, I'm sorry, since she is no longer covered in her mantle, we can now switch over to ice, and this thing does an absurd amount of damage. These files I've seen hit upwards of close to 200 damage per file, which is ridiculous. Another thing, having that maxed white sharpness and then half sharpness lost is just astounding. Plus, because we're relying all on the elemental damage, this synergizes very well, keeping the Power Prolonger to keep that sword charged. Oop. Missed most of those files, that's okay. But if you look at the damage, I mean, we don't have really any damage skills. We're purely focusing on just longevity here. Oh, we don't have guard up, so because you don't have guard up, don't sit in that. Fireproof Mantle would be good to prevent some of that extra damage when that does happen. Try to stay away from it. Let me go ahead and just pop this here. And then we'll just make our way to the final phase. Now, the reason I love Charge Blade is it has great mobility, has the ability to block, has great damage. Between the guard points and everything... Oh, shoot, somebody put him to sleep. No, no, no. There you go. See, look at that damage. That is just insane. Let me go ahead and set up. It's always nice when you got a good team that knows what they're doing. I went ahead and charged up. We'll just go ahead and sharpen real quick. Stay under white sharpness. Oh, I wasn't ready for that. Let's go ahead and... Oh, I'm facing the wrong way. Oops. Okay. That was a wasted couple files. Charge up that sword. Oop. Let's go ahead and get another one of these off. I mean, as you can see, the file damage is absurd. Elemental damage is heavily underestimated in this fight, I feel. I mean, this easily outdoes the Elementless Diablo. Oh, look, somebody put up a... There we go.
Watch yourself.
Quite literally, the only damaging skill we have... Here we go. Is that elemental ice, and just look at that damage. And already dropped. Oh my gosh. Alright, there you have it. Sorry for the quick show on that, but as you can see, extremely effective, especially when you have a group that knows what they're doing. I really hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you would like to see a particular weapon build, feel free to leave a request in the comments below. And as always, happy hunting!